I just spilled my tea. So since the last couple of videos I posted of my wild swimming, over the last couple of months I have been going out a bit more and trying to build my confidence. I've been either going with my family or with my partner, and also I bought a paddleboard as well during that time. I love it. I know it's become the in thing I think at the moment, but I tried paddleboarding last year and I've been meaning to do it for ages. I'm really glad I did because it doubled in price literally within the next few days after I bought it. So I've got the Aqua Spirit at the moment. I also bought a few books as well. So I bought the Lizzie Carr Paddling Britain and also the Wild Swimming Hidden Beaches and the Wild Guide. So these books are amazing. I've got some really good ideas through them. I started off at the Punch Bowl up in Abergavenny, which I thought was brilliant for a first starter to go and practice on my paddleboard. I did fall in twice. I had my wetsuit on, it was fine, but it was quite quiet around there. There was only a couple of people. I got a little bit too distracted trying to take photos and then hit a rock and I fell backwards. So I've been up to the Keeper's Pond as well up in Blenheim, which that is a brilliant place to go and practice and do some wild swimming. So I know it's quite popular up there. I would be careful because there are crayfish in there. I've not come across any, but they can nip you, so make sure you wear your boots. I'm loving it. I've got all the gear I need really. So I've got my buoyancy aid, I've got my life jacket, I've got my gloves, my boots, my wetsuit, and also bought a swim cap as well just in case. And I also bought my license. So a lot of people may argue this, but you do need a license to paddleboard on a canal. So I got mine through I think it was Canoe Wales, I think I got mine from. So you get a membership card as well, and it also includes your insurance or your liability insurance. Some people will say that you don't need it. Personally, I'm more than happy to pay the fee for the year to support the waterways and to maintain them, because to be honest I want to use them like everyone else. I had to go on paddleboarding up the Monmouth and Bracken Canal, which was lovely. It's not the cleanest of waters, so I wouldn't recommend falling in. I didn't bother taking my wetsuit because I think I was pretty confident at that point that I wasn't going to fall in. I just had to be a bit careful because of the canal boats going past, but you've got to give priority to them anyway. I thought I'd put a compilation of my videos together of my paddleboarding and my wild swimming, and hope you enjoy.
This is Jackson's Bay, and it was actually my first paddle experience on the sea. I was a bit nervous about this as I had chosen to go on my own, and it was around 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. I spent around 45 minutes walking around and across the Barry Island before I actually built up the confidence to go in. It was actually when I saw another paddleboarder that I decided to brave it. I didn't stay in too long or paddle too far out though, as the water was quite choppy despite the gorgeous weather, and I couldn't keep my balance for very long. Once I packed away my board, I went back in and had a swim instead. This is the Keeper's Pond up in Blenheim. This is a perfect place to practice wild swimming and paddleboarding. It is quite a popular location. You wouldn't believe though I'm actually terrified of water, so knowing there were crayfish in the water just made it worse. I made sure to wear my boots and swam behind a group of women who probably thought I was a bit weird following them, but the people were friendly enough and some were quite envious of my paddleboard. This is called the Warren in the Hay-on-Wye. It was such a beautiful location, and this was also quite a popular place for swimming and canoeing. I went with my partner. We managed to find a quiet spot so I could set up my paddleboard. This is definitely my favourite place so far, and we were so lucky with the weather as it absolutely poured down with rain on the drive back. This is the Usk Island, and it's a park at the edge of the River Usk. We arrived quite late in the evening, and as we pulled up, some swimmers were just packing up already. The water was like ice, so I probably stayed in for around 20 minutes or so. I didn't bother with the paddleboard in the end, as it would have been dark by the time I pumped it up anyway. But despite being a beautiful place and a beautiful sunset, unfortunately it didn't result in a great evening, as we were verbally abused by some idiotic kids on the bridge. It was just safer just to pack up and leave. This was a brilliant morning swimming in the River Taff. I normally volunteer with the Cardiff Conservation Volunteers on a Sunday, but I decided the night before that I was going to join the Taffy Dippers and join the voluntary group a bit later on. I couldn't believe how many people turned up. One of my friends had actually joined the group the same day as me, so it was nice to have someone to talk to. It was a great vibe though, and such good fun. It made such a difference swimming with other people. I'm just gutted I forgot to bring my coffee with me to warm up. I bought my Waterway license a couple of months ago, and I hadn't actually been able to use it until recently. This was the Monmouth Sherman Bracken Canal, and I parked in a small car park near Goitra Wharf. I decided not to wear a wetsuit this time, and as I was quite confident at this point I wouldn't fall in. Plus I wouldn't want to fall in that water anyway. It was pretty filthy. The scenery on the other hand was stunning, and I regretted wearing long sleeves. It was absolutely boiling. I was on the water for a good 2 hours heading north, and it made a change actually paddling some distance rather than going round in circles. And lastly, this was actually the first day I took my paddleboard out. I wanted to practice somewhere quiet and small enough that I could just get used to being on the board again, so I chose the Punch Bowl in Abergavenny. My partner was with me watching in case anything went wrong, and other than falling in twice, it was such a beautiful evening paddleboarding while the sun was setting.